Jim, welcome to Next Level Training, man. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It is a nice little place you got
It's
here.
a little hole in the wall, but it does what it needs to be done, you know?
Took me about 20 minutes to find it.
Yeah.
I kept, when I get off the freeway, it says, it's going to be right pretty quick. And I always kept going, the numbers get smaller as you go down. So I made a few U-turns and finally got it. But
Good.
I thought maybe it was that place down the street that's
Busybody.
Busybody.
Sure. So tell me, you were in Pennsylvania? You were doing
Right.
competing?
I just finished the National Masters in Pittsburgh, and came out pretty good. I won the over 80. Of course, I was the only competitor again.
Oh, that's okay.
And
Wins and win.
I was third. Right, I was third out of 10 in the over 70s. And the people who beat me, one was 70, one was just 71.
Cool, man.
So it made me pretty happy. The funniest thing that happened, at least I thought it was funny. In fact, it's the high point of my of the stay there, was that the next day I was watching the women's, because the show was the women's one day and men's the other day. So the women, I was watching the women's. This guy says, "Jim, how does it feel to have 2 pro cards?" I says, "What? I don't have 2 pro cards. They gave me one just out of the goodness of their heart last year,
Right.
when I won the over 80. But no, I don't have 2 pro cards." He says, "Well, Jim, you have 2 pro cards because I was the guy that announced it. They don't recognize me, but I was up there. I announced it. Oh no, I still don't believe it." And he said, and I said, I always use the thing, at bodybuilding at my age and my level is like, but bodybuilding at my level is to bodybuilding as the Special Olympics is to the Olympic Games.
Well, bodybuilding at any level is hard.
But not that because I'm not disparaging the Special Olympics.
Right.
They are just as hard training as any event.
Yeah.
But when it comes right down to it, there's a difference. But he pointed something out to me that made it really probably the best thing that anyone ever said to me. He says, "Jim, look at it this way. You're the Phil Heath of the 80-year-olds.
You are?
Well, no, I'm.
You feel good now?
Yeah.
But just put it in perspective for you.
Just as long as I don't look at my pictures, I said, "Oh God."
Well, we look at them and we think you look fine.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Tell me a little more about yourself. I know you're the very famous power lifter and have been trained. I know I've read your biography in the Wikipedia, and I've seen where you've gone through some real adverse situations.
Yeah, I've had a couple near-death calls, car accident and stuff like that, and I lost my right ankle. Had about 13 surgeries, and brought myself back because I can't do plumbing. This is all I know. You know what I mean?
Well, you won't fit under a sink.
That's
it.
But it's been a battle, and but life's a battle.
Mm-hmm.
And every day you get out of bed, you got to just get out of bed and look at a new day as a new day, and that's what I do.
Right.
I overcome and I think that's a big thing that a lot of people aren't willing to do. They're not willing to step up and say, "Hey, I have this problem, but I need to deal with this problem." A lot of people are, they want to sweep it under the carpet, and you just can't live life that way.
No.
So I have 64 world records, and I'm getting ready to compete this weekend actually out in Solvang. It's an APF meet with American Powerlifting Federation, and it's just I'm having a good time in life.
Right. Right. Well, the whole thing is attitude.
That's it.
Everything is attitude.
Yeah.
You could get up and be discouraged if you want to let that.
Yeah.
But if you lose, like in bodybuilding, what's the next why did I lose? Well, it's not really winning or losing. The thing is that if the whole idea is to be better, you want to. It's a you're a sculptor.
Yeah.
You're doing your sculpture.
Yeah, you want to be the best.
You want to yeah, and you say, well, there's something wrong. Well, what do I need to improve? and so the next day you're at the gym.
Yeah, that's what it's
back
about.
there, and you're going for that, because when the reason I compete is I want to be this. It's my report card.
Sure.
I want to see how I stand up.
Yeah.
and as far as the actual winning titles, that doesn't mean anything.
It gets to that point where it doesn't.
It doesn't. The thing that means is that if you're improving and you can see you're improving, that's what you want to do.
Absolutely.
And they told me I could come back and go for earn a pro card every year as long as I can win.
Yeah. No, I think that's admirable, and it's not even the competitions in itself. At least for me, it's a way of life. It's what keeps me going.
Yeah.
I mean, if everything in my life, and I know you feel the same way, is goal orientation.
Right.
And if you don't have a goal, you're lost.
Yes.
Right. So I believe that a lot of people are like, oh, you're 45 years old and you're still benching close to 1100 or over 1100. I mean, when is it going to stop? And I always answer, when God tells me to. You just keep it going as long as you can, and you ride it, and you have a good time in life.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do. And you know Bob Humphreys?
No, I'm not familiar.
Oh, well, he's in the Powerlifting Hall of Fame, but he originally was in track and field. This was in say late 50s, early 60s.
Oh, okay.
And he held the record for the discus and shot put combination. And later he became the place kicker for the Denver Broncos, when they still did it like this.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But so when I knew him, it was doing odd lifts. They wasn't.
Yeah, they didn't have the specifics down.
We had the squat, the bench press, and the curl. And this is my only area of powerlifting,
right, sure.
that I was ever in. Well, so we didn't train very much. He had loaned me an Olympic bar. I was doing overhead lifting.
Sure.
And which is probably the worst possible thing I could be doing, because I'm not flexible. I got no skinny, no tendons,
right.
and no coordination.
Right.
Never could learn to do a squat snatch or a squat clean. Once I put up 300 pounds on the bar and on the rack, and so I would say I'm going to do a squat, front squat. Go all the way down and start up, and my knee kind of gave way a little bit, and so I don't think I'll be doing too much of that.
You're like, I'll bodybuild.
Yeah, so I'll go back to bodybuilding.
Sure. Believe it or not, I was a bodybuilder to begin with.
I believe it.
Before I started powerlifting, because LA is a big bodybuilding state, or city. So I started competing in it, and that's what my base is now. Is all my support work, all my work outside of the lifts is all bodybuilding work. And I believe that that's what's kept me together for all these years. And right now, I train harder right now than I ever have. I'm in the best shape of my life right now.
I believe it.
So,
I believe it. Now, my problem has always been I'm too small.
Never too small.
And I'm too small. And I'm trying, and I wonder if I worked on those basic power lifts,
you'd get bigger.
I'd get bigger.
But remember, getting size is not just lifting weights. It's all numbers. It's your caloric count. It's shortening up your workouts as far as your reps during your sets and rest time. In powerlifting sessions, we'll rest 7 to 10 minutes in between sets. So it's not volumizing like what you're used to for bodybuilding. You you should come and join our workout sometime. I think you'd like it.
I might do that.
But in my heart, I'm a bodybuilder. You know?
Okay. Well, you're certainly big enough.
Yeah, I'm big enough to be a bodybuilder. Yeah.
Now there was a time in my life in the early '60s when I was, just before they had any drugs and stuff.
Right.
And but what they did was really, really bulk up. And so I got this, I worked for a company where I had an inside sales job, and I would get this milk, skim milk, 2 quarts of skim milk, and then 2 quarts of milk solids, put some molasses in so I could drink it, and shake it all up, put a tube in a little plastic tube, and while I was just taking orders, I'd just be sucking on this all day long.
Yeah.
And I went from about 150 pounds up to 215, which is huge for me.
Yeah, that's big.
And and then I cut down I was going in as Mr. LA. And I dropped 35 pounds in 56 days, I think it was.
Right.
But I was still a little too smooth, even back then before they.
Yeah.
I didn't have any abs, and you had to have a little bit of abs.
Yeah.
And so I said, no, I'm not going to do it. Tanning all the time, all this winter, all summer rather. And when it got to be winter, I'd have these big lights coming. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, well, you're the pioneer, man. I mean, you guys, you made it all happen for us.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that.
When I went to school at Occidental, they didn't allow weights, and I wanted to bring my weights.
Yeah.
And they said, well, look, we'll let you have weights here, but you gotta put them in a big box. You have to have it locked, and only you use them. And we'll keep it here in the back of the gym where they have the mats. So that's what I did. The next year they wouldn't let me do that, so I had to bring them into the dorm in my dorm room. But one thing I wanted to ask you this. Another one thing was that between my freshman and sophomore years, I decided that I was happy with the way my progress was coming on the exercises. I could, but the squat I was just bad on, and so I said I could only do 5 reps, good reps with 220 pounds.
Right.
And I weighed about around 150.
Right.
So I says, now I am going to set a goal in the next 6 weeks to be able to do 300 pounds, an 80-pound increase. And so what I did is I quit all other working out, and I trained 5 days a week on the squat, and I would do
5 days a week squatting.
5 days a week, and every workout, and I would do 3 sets. I warm up, then 3 sets. A set about 20 pounds under the weight, then the weight I was going to use, and then back up set another 5 reps of 20 pounds under. And I would add 2.5 pounds to the bar. I would add 2.5 pounds every day for 5 days, which is 12.5 pounds a week. And I kept doing that, and it worked until I got to about 290 pounds, and I got stuck down on the bottom. But I did some blade presses and stuff the same day, and then the next day I was back and I did it, and I kept on going. I got to 300 pounds with a couple of weeks to spare. So when I got to school and wanted to tell the guys what I was doing over the vacation, put the bar on the squat racks, 300 pounds, did a warm up, and so I did 5 reps. Yeah. God, that was easy. Well, so I did another 5 reps. That's pretty easy too. And then so finally I did another 5. It was beginning to get a little bit hard. I said, well, I guess I made my point and racked the bar. Yeah. And that was, but I didn't gain a pound. I weighed 150 to start, and I ended up at 150.
Yeah. Well, so, that would be because of your food intake.
Yeah.
If you don't increase your food, then you're not going to gain any weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can get strength without putting weight on.
Yeah.
You know, so it's all numbers.
Yeah.
Everything's numbers.
Yeah, you're right. When I was trained at John Verbotnik's gym, in fact, it was a charter member. He said, you know, see, you eat more protein, and he was good on this protein stuff. And I started gaining, and it was really neat. There was, at that time, you could buy government inspected horse meat, and it was cheap. And we'd ground that, or it was ground over. I was off campus in the junior year, and I went from, let's say, 150 to 170.
Yeah.
And you know, it was about the same conditions. So.
Sure.
So how much protein did you say that you should take, or what?
Well, see, me, I up the protein a little bit more. You know, for an average person, it's 1 gram per pound. I go about 3. I just noticed that I fire off a little bit better with the higher protein. But in order for me to get the strength, you got to have a good carb. And my carbs that I eat, I'll go with a lot of yam, brown rice, but I don't eat white rice. I don't eat breads. Very rarely do I eat pastas. So you know, I'm pretty much like a pre-contest bodybuilder year round. You know, like right now I have brown rice with beef, cilantro, and tomatoes, and that's basically what I go with all the time. You know, and I eat the same thing all day long. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, well, this is. We were both excited we could do that.
I mean, you know, and I like good food. Don't get me wrong, but you know, it's about feeding the body, fueling the system, and you know, I believe with the proper fueling, you can get where you want to be. But when you bulk up, like, you know how you eat like 5, 6, 7 times a day for bodybuilding? When you bulk up, see, if your metabolism moves faster, then it's harder to gain weight. So you would go down to 4 meals a day instead of the 12 that I do. I wake up at 3 in the morning and have a full meal and go back to bed. I eat like all night, all day, all the time. And it's just how I maintain, you know, being really lean and healthy. But if I want to bulk up, I would cut some of the meals down and eat larger meals, and not so much in succession, because you want to slow your metabolism down a little bit to get bigger.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, you're right. My metabolism is pretty wicked.
Well, I mean, because you're eating, you know, 6, 8
I'm
times a day.
not eating that many. I eat about 5.
Oh, you're eating 5 meals a day?
Yeah, I never.
Even when you compete?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I never really eat, you know, big, you know, a lot. But I eat, and I drink probably 100. I only eat.
So.
Yeah. So. I go ahead and give now the brown rice. You say when I eat rice, I have a tendency to get fat.
To get bloated.
Well, I just put the weight on.
Well, let me ask you a question. Are you eating the brown rice at nighttime?
I would eat it at night.
See, that's why you're getting bloated.
Really?
Yeah. See, the thing about it is you're not active at night. So if you're not active at night and you put a carb load in, it just sits there like a brick, and then your metabolism won't metabolize it because it's got nowhere to go. You know what I mean? So after 3 or 4 o'clock, then you don't have carbs. You know, so just vegetable carbs.
So what's this carb backloading? Have you ever?
Well, as far as what are you talking about?
Well, you don't eat carbs during the day and then eat them all at night.
Well, see, that's like old school. People don't do that anymore. You know, I mean, like a strength training guy, a power lifter or a weightlifter, if they're trying to bulk up, then they would have carbs at nighttime as well. You know what I mean? Like if I want to get big, when I go do that 3 a.m. meal, I'll wake up and I'll eat 2 big yams and a pound of beef, and I'll go back to bed. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm like an inch wider. You know what I mean? But if I'm trying to lose weight,
if you're an inch wider up here, that
well, you know what I mean. I basically stay pretty lean all year. I mean, I have abs right now, but
Yeah.
But point is if I'm trying to lean out, I'll go with vegetables more than I will with a starch. And the reason why I go with brown rice instead of white rice is brown rice has a shell over it, and it's slow burning. So like if you eat white rice, your pancreas just gets rushed with sugar, which causes it to produce insulin.
Oh.
As long as you don't eat a starch, your pancreas can't produce insulin. And if you don't have insulin production, you don't have body fat storage. So that's how it goes.
Okay, so but brown rice takes a long time to cook, doesn't it?
Yeah, you put it. I have a rice cooker. I put it in. I put the water in, and that's it. I leave. When I get back, it's done and it's warm.
Oh, how long does that take?
Probably an hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in a rice cooker. Costco, $30. Best thing I ever did.
Oh.
But and it's cool because it keeps it warm all day. And then I can eat what I need to eat. I just grab it. It's warm. Because the worst thing is cold rice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a yam is a superfood.
Really, I hate yams.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, it is an incredible carbohydrate. Because it's clean burning. It's not like a potato to where it's so starchy.
Oh.
And you can get a lot out of it. But when you're competing, what's your basic meal when you're competing? What do you do, like asparagus and fish?
No. My diet this time is I cut out the milk products except for whey. I had 5 scoops of whey optimum protein, and then I had. Okay, well that's it on that, and then I have tuna and with mayonnaise and chopped up celery, and then in the evening I'd have either chicken or beef or something and mix it up in a salad, and I was only getting around 1 gram.
Per pound.
Yeah, maybe a little.
Well, let me ask you a question. More. You're not eating any starchy carbs for how long before you compete?
About a month.
See, I'm not telling you what to do, but the old style bodybuilding, they would deplete all the way to the show. The new style bodybuilding, what they do is they come down before the show, and then they start to carb up a little bit.
Yeah.
And they grow into the show.
That way
they're not all flat.
Right. How long before the show would they start carving up?
Well, you lightly carb up. Just the thing about it is when you come down the way we used to, and I used to bodybuild like you. Yeah. Is I would just literally starve myself down, and then you'd be flat, and then you'd carb up for the night before. To kind of get some fullness,
Yeah.
But I learned from a lot of these pros that I work with as well that growing into the show instead of depleting down to the show.
Yeah.
That's why these guys look so full and they have the veins everywhere and they're not looking like they're gonna die like a zombie. You know what I mean? Because you want to have the nutrient.
Yeah.
But there's a science to it. I mean, it's a whole different world now, So that's what they're doing, and then you'll find that you'll be a lot fuller, and you have to sort of get to know your body in that. It's something that you need to, talk to people about and experiment with. But I see these guys coming in now, and they're way fuller and way more vascular, and just they feel better because they're not about to die.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I've done that too.
You felt good at doing that.
Oh yeah. The idea is that you come in maybe a week before.
Yeah.
And then come. But I don't do that much. Dieting. You see, I never get more than at the most 10 pounds over my competition.
So you stay within. You're not 50 pounds.
Yeah. No. Like this guy, Kevin Sperling, that I was telling Jason about. He came down from 270 to 218 at the show, and he didn't get called out. Well, he has a terrific physique and shape and everything. He looks kind of like Vince Taylor.
Yeah.
And but he didn't. He wasn't vascular at all.
Yeah.
He was I guess that's called flat.
Yeah.
And if he had if he'd come back a little more, then he probably would have done better.
Well, most pros, they're not 50, 70 pounds up anymore.
No.
They stay 10 to 15 pounds within range.
Right.
Pretty much all the time.
Dexter trains
Yeah.
there all the time. And
Dexter Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a beast.
And
That guy's no joke.
boy, he works hard.
Yeah,
too.
nice guy.
Oh,
Nice
yeah.
guy.
But yeah, that's the way. And once I gained maybe 20 pounds, and so I started walking. I live in a gated community, and it's 3 laps is 2 miles or something.
Right,
like that. And by the time I started in February, and by the time the show was on Memorial Day, I had walked as far as from here to San Francisco.
Yeah.
I said, wait, I could do it a lot easier just by going like this every day.
But you need that cardio.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's worked pretty good for me in recent.
Cool.
But I'm really interested in taking some of your suggestions about the rice, the carbs, and the stuff, and I'll see how it works.
Yeah, I mean, just try it out, and not in excess. Just kind of feel your body out, and you'll especially when you're coming down and you're getting towards showtime, any little bit is going to affect you.
Mm-hmm.
So I would play around with it and do some research on it. And figure it out for you.
How about the fats? Where do they play in your diet?
See, personally, fat doesn't get you fat.
Right.
So I do a lot of fats because I feel that that's a part that helps promote power.
Yeah.
You can't deplete and excel in strength training.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I go out and eat crap burgers and macaroni and cheese and all that crap all day long, because I don't. I rarely ever go out to eat. I cook all my own stuff, or I have it cooked for me, and I really, really watch what I eat. I've been 390 before.
Wow.
I'm 340 right now, so it's when I grew up, it was like get bigger. The bigger you get, the stronger you get.
Yeah.
And then I got to a point where I was too big to where, just carrying the weight around was just a nightmare.
Yeah, right. I can imagine.
I'd walk up the stairs, my legs were 36.5 inches each, and I'd hit the top step, and I was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So is my optimal way for strength and power, and not to be, exhausted all the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that about the fat, because my doctor, Ryan McLean.
Yeah.
He says, well, God, you can use as much as 50%.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so I'm great on Best Foods mayonnaise.
You know what? I use mayonnaise also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put that with my tuna, and I generally have tuna and cottage cheese.
Yeah. I'm a cottage cheese fanatic as well.
Yeah, it's great that we both can eat beef and milk products.
Yeah. Well, I can't drink straight milk.
Oh, you can't?
I can have yogurt and I can eat cottage cheese, but I can't drink milk, because when I competed, I stopped eating dairy products for 4 years when I was bodybuilding.
Oh.
And then I started strength training again, and it was like, okay, and I started drinking. I used to drink like a gallon of milk a day. I loved it, And I still love it, but just the people around me won't. So
that's like Paul Anderson.
Yeah.
John Probotnik was telling about that he met Paul Anderson, and it went sort of like this. He says, Paul was going after a set of squats.
Yeah.
How do you train? He says, well, he said, I do a set of squats, and then I drink a quart of milk. Then I do another set of squats. and I drank a quart of milk.
Yeah.
And it went on for about a half hour.
You ever meet him?
No, no, I never did.
Yeah, I wish I would have. He's somebody that.
Yeah, I've seen him. I've seen him lift in person.
Did you?
Yeah.
That would have been amazing to see.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know when you see these guys doing their thing that it's so special. But at the time, you know, it's just something we're going through in life, and it's like there was only one guy in the world built like that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody's even come close to matching his platform lift.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's just amazing to think that there was a guy all the way back then that was like that strong and that far ahead of everybody else. And, you know, I like to model myself after him because it's like, that's where you want to be.
Oh, yeah.
My thing is, all I want is 50 years after I'm dead, I want people to remember my name.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing of it is, it's guys like Jason that will make that happen.
Yeah.
Because whoever heard of John Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, you know, world record holder in the Olympic lifting, but you know, he died broke and nobody knows his name.
Yeah.
And so that's that's good. I think they will, because I think some of your records are going to stand for quite a while.
I hope so.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
So. We'll think of something else to say in a second here.
I think we're good.
Yeah,
You got all these.
We can wrap it up. We got like 30 minutes of footage.
Yeah, we're good.
So I mean, you can just go to your conclusion. Nice to meet you, or whatever, you know, whatever. Unless you had any more last real important questions you didn't ask.
Well, I had a few, but I've forgotten them. You know, after all, I'm 81 years old, right?
Don't lie to me. You're not 81.
I'm 81.
Okay. Don't lie to me.
I'll be 82 on September 1st.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so my oncologist told me, and I hope he's true. He says your greatest health risk is being hit by a truck.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's what's wrong with that. That's a great health risk.
Yeah, with my eyesight, it's a pretty. But it might even be. It might come true.
Well, brother, you know what? Absolute pleasure.
So nice meeting you. I really
Pleasure.
I look
Pleasure.
forward to it.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
And
It's
I
a
never
long time coming.
And I never realized that was you there all these days.
You know what? It's funny. You're right next to each other in the gym,
Yeah.
and we're all doing our thing. But it's like this bubble we all have, to where it's like we're in our own thing and doing our own thing. And I'm glad that we had a chance to talk.
Well, there's so many people at the gym that they just stick to them. So I understand that they're there training.
Yeah,
that's what you're there for.
Yeah.
But you say, if you say hi to them, and they'll say hi.
Yeah, right.
All that. You have to wait.
Yeah, you got to get them out of their bubble.
Then they're real nice.
Well, I promise. Next time I see you at the gym, I will definitely come up to you. Okay?
Oh, okay. and throw me across the gym.
No way, man. You're a keeper. I'm not throwing you anywhere.
Well, look, I'll take some of your advice.
And I'll take some of yours.
And I'll give you some advice.
Absolutely. I want to take it.
And maybe we can come back and do this again.
Let's do it. Let's do a workout next time.
Okay.
I think that'd be good. We'll do some bodybuilding.
Oh, speaking of workouts, I'm doing this, and I think it's helping. I'm doing this real slow. What do you call it? Eccentric training, where you do this Darlington.
You're talking about the slow training, with the negative and everything,
right? You do 30 seconds down and 30 seconds up and 30 seconds down. For me, with my at my age and my bone structure and tendons and stuff.
It works.
I think it's sort of like isometrics.
Well, look at it like this. Anytime you're going fast and you're just kind of pounding off of the bottom, anytime you loosen up and hit the bottom, it's in the tendon, ligament, and joint.
Right.
And you can't build these areas.
Right.
So the slower and more isolated you are, I run my workouts like that.
Do you?
Not the 30 seconds, but I run it with the isolation, with the full negative down, staying in the area.
And then as you go down, you can go down and just go back as much as you can, you know.
I don't. You know what? A lot of times I'll modify the movement.
Yeah.
I don't need to go down all.
Right.
all the way.
Well, it's in the sticking point is where I think it's where the hardest point.
Well, remember, if you're in a negative on the way down, like if I'm doing a bicep exercise and I'm in a negative on the way down, when I hit about here, anything below here is all tendon and ligament.
Oh.
So you stay in the belly of the muscle, and then when you pull up, you're already in a negative, so you're already in the bicep. So you're squeezing that bicep up and concentrating that effort. So you're never leaving the musculature to go to the joint.
How do you increase the strength of your tendons then?
The thing about it is this: a tendon
Or
you're
movement?
born with.
Yeah.
You're not going to increase the strength of a tendon.
Really?
You can't. You can't build a tendon.
Oh.
You either have tendons that are thick like a rope, and you were born like that, or you have thin tendons.
Well, I got thin tendons.
Well, you're a bodybuilder.
Well, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's what.
See, I'm a power lifter,
Yeah.
so I got joints
Yeah,
the size
right.
of freaking,
Yeah, right.
kneecaps and,
Yeah.
knee joints in my elbows. So, but that's what I do. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I didn't become a pro bodybuilder is because I don't have that thin waist.
Yeah.
You know, I know that. I know genetically
Yeah.
I can't bring myself down to a 28-inch waist.
Yeah.
It's just never going to happen. You know,
Yeah.
I got a 40-inch waist. Of course, I'm 60 up here. See, my thing is, I try to just grow into it. That way it looks small, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
elusiveness, So it's all illusion,
Well, sure. That's.
But see, you can do what I can't do, and I can do what you
Yeah.
can't do.
Right.
So
Right.
that's just what it is, and together we complete both worlds.
Yeah. Great.
You know?
Isometrics. You ever get into that?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I was trying that for back in the '60s.
Well, that was big back then.
Yeah, that's when it started. And so I had a thing that I made, a rack that I made. I had all these little holes. I took some dowel pins and stick them every 2 inches, and I had a thing that went across. So it's sort of like a Smith machine type thing, except it was just. It was just a square tubing around the other because it wouldn't have to worry about it. And then I got a bunch of plates. I worked for Scot Mendelson back then, and so I had a bunch of plates just sheared out of steel and had a hole drilled in them. I had 400 pounds of that, and then I had a chain hoist over above so I could lift it up.
That's cool.
And I enjoyed doing that, but then when I moved down to the beach, my friend of mine told me that Gold's Gym is just down the block, and that's where Arnold trains, and so
There you are.
so
That's a mecca.
yeah, it was so funny that once after I'd been there a little while, Arnold says, "Jim, are you done with the Smith machine?" And I said yes, but inside I was saying, "Arnold knows my name."
I won the Arnold.
You did?
Yeah, the powerlifting portion. Yeah.
Yeah. I could believe you did. You probably won everything.
I've won it all, but it's been fun. But winning the Arnold was definitely, because he was my idol.
Yeah.
And he came up to me on stage. They were handing me a check, and they're like, "Scott, turn around. There's somebody who wants to say hi to you." And there he was, and I was like, he's like, "I've seen weight lifted, but I've never seen weight lifted like that before." And I was like, "Well, you should thank yourself, bro, because looking at you in those magazines all these years is the reason why, I'm here."
Yeah.
I said, "Thank you." He said, "Thank you." It was cool.
Yeah, it sure was.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know
Okay,
what? Let's
I know you got a right back call.
I got a call back on it now, so yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Maybe we can set up an interview with him too. I'd like to.
Actually, that was C.T. Fletcher.
That's what he was telling me.
Yeah.
And I'd like to have an opportunity to talk to him because I've seen it. I've seen one of his videos that
he's
Jason
amazing.
showed me.
He's amazing. He's a really good human being.
He's a good guy too.
Yeah, he's a super great-hearted, just a real man. You know what I mean? He's just, I love him, and I trained with him. So he was the generation before me. So, and he was sort of my, inspiration. But we may have something coming up on that too. So people stay tuned. We'll talk later, Jim.
Okay. Thanks so much.
You got it, brother.
Wait a minute. Before you click away, I want you to subscribe, like, comment, hell, even dislike if you want to. At least do something before you get out of here.